You're going to die someday. You already know that. But here's the strange part. You might be the only animal on this whole planet that knows it's coming. And 50,000 years ago, a human just like you stood over a dead body and did something no creature on Earth had ever done before. They didn't just walk away. They knelt down. They cared. And the way they treated that body changed what it means to be human forever. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you what our ancestors actually believed about death, long before churches, before gods, before a single holy book existed. And clue number 3, it's going to make you rethink why religion even exists in the first place. So stick with me. Let's go back, way back. Picture a cave in the mountains, cold, dark. A group of Neanderthals, yeah, the cavemen everyone makes fun of. We're told they were dumb brutes, grunting, stupid. But that's wrong, because in a place called Shanidar Cave, scientists found something that stopped them cold. A grave. Not a body left to rot. A grave. The man was placed carefully on his side, almost like he was just sleeping. And around him, clumps of flower pollen. Some researchers think his people may have laid flowers with him, 50,000 years before the first flower shop ever existed. Now think about that. You only bring flowers to someone you love. So why would a dumb caveman do that? Unless he believed his friend was going somewhere. But here's where it gets weirder. All over the ancient world, we keep digging up the same thing. Bodies buried with stuff. And not random stuff. Their best stuff. Hunting tools, food, beads and jewelry that took hundreds of hours to make by hand. And a lot of these graves are covered in something red, a powder called red ochre. They smeared it on the dead like paint. Red, the color of blood, the color of life. So stop and ask yourself one simple question. If you truly believed death was the end, lights out, nothing after, would you bury your only hunting spear with a corpse? Of course not. You'd keep it. You'd survive. But they didn't keep it. They gave it away to the dead. And that tells us something huge. These people didn't think their loved one was gone. They thought they were traveling, going somewhere that still needed a spear, somewhere that needed food for the road. Quick question for you. Have you ever kept something from someone you lost? An old shirt? A phone you just can't delete? Tell me in the comments. Because that instinct, it's 50,000 years old. Okay, now for the part that gives me chills. Deep inside caves in France, places called Lascaux and Chauvet, humans painted on the walls. Bulls, lions, horses, galloping in the dark. And for years, people thought, aw, cute, cavemen drawing the animals they hunted. Simple, right? Wrong again. Because these paintings are hidden, deep underground, in tunnels you'd have to crawl through, in total blackness, holding one tiny flickering flame. Nobody decorates a room they can barely reach. So why go there? A lot of experts now believe these caves weren't art galleries. They were sacred doorways, the dark belly of the earth, where the line between the living and the dead got thin, where you went to touch the other side. In other words, the first humans may have built the first churches, and they built them in the dark. But none of this explains the biggest mystery. Why? Why did humans start believing in an afterlife at all? Hold that thought, because the answer is coming, and it's not what you think. Here's the cool part. We don't just have to guess, because some cultures still live close to the old way. Take the Hadza in Tanzania, or Aboriginal Australians whose stories stretch back tens of thousands of years. Look at what they believe, and you see a pattern. Death isn't a wall, it's a door. The dead don't vanish. They become ancestors, spirits in the land, voices in the wind, people you can still talk to. So across the entire planet, different tribes, different times, no internet, no shared book, humans landed on almost the exact same idea. The dead are still with us, just somewhere else. And that's not a coincidence. That's a clue about your brain. See, your mind is built to do one thing better than almost anything: connect. You love people, you bond with them, and your brain literally cannot accept that someone you love just stops existing. So when they die, your brain refuses. It keeps them alive, as a memory, a feeling, a presence in the room. Now multiply that by every human who ever lived, and you get something powerful. Maybe the first religion wasn't about gods at all. Maybe it didn't start with worship, or fear, or rules. Maybe it started with grief. Maybe the very first spiritual thought a human ever had was simple, standing over someone they loved, and refusing to say goodbye. That's what that Neanderthal was doing in the cave all those years ago. Not being a brute, being one of us. So the next time you feel like someone you lost is still around, don't feel crazy. Feel ancient. You're doing the most human thing there is, something we've done for 50,000 years. If this changed the way you see your own mind, hit subscribe, because the next one will too. And if you want to know what your brain actually does in the final seconds right before you die, watch this one next. Trust me, you'll never think about it the same way again.